Tribal Habits here, recording another voiceover for another training log, and we're back with the usual stuff, recording another training session. This one is Thursday's session, which is a play date with flexibility. For the time being, I'm just warming up. Before I bend, I like to round my spine, and I actually do that in between every set. The first 3 sets are the same structure as usual. Nothing on this day changed. Everything was working well. So I just do 3 sets of bridge holds, around 10 seconds, nothing too strict, just to get my spine moving, bending well, feeling nice and loose. And then I go on to my dynamic sets, which I record the highlight of in these sessions. I superset those with some type of forearm work and some type of neck isolation. Usually the first set of forearms is just some type of one arm hang, be it with a towel or doesn't matter. And then the second set is where I do the rice bucket, which I record often, but this time around I didn't, just because, for a change I guess. And then for the neck work, I just do 2 sets. I alternate movements frequently. I've been playing with the neck bridge variations, one side like front head bridge and back neck bridge, just for the time being. And yeah, as you've seen throughout these 3 months or 4 months of vlogs, however long I've been doing this for, I rotate variations quite often, just change the stimulus, and I've been seeing great results with that. In regards to the rest of my training, as I've said in the previous training log before the beach vlog, I've trimmed down volume quite significantly, and those changes remain the same. Like I said, I wanted to be consistent with that for quite a while. I didn't, or if I'm not mistaken, I didn't attribute a specific time frame, but I'm pretty confident with saying that I'll probably stick to this for at least a comfortable 3 months and possibly more. I only see myself changing when I go back to a bigger surplus, because I am in a surplus, but just something normal. But around September, I usually do a bigger surplus and benefit from that to some degree when I don't exaggerate. And during those times, I can often benefit from a bit more volume, as long as I then trim down once I start to go easier on the surplus. And yeah, in regards to the exercises on these sessions, I do the usual, the superset I mentioned previously, and then I do the hip mobility stuff, which is active mobility this day. The way I split that flexibility work is once a week I do quote-unquote passive flexibility, and another day of the week I do active flexibility. And the change in these is basically just load, the degree to which I load the stretches. I play, and also the stretches change depending on the session. So here I'm just doing loaded horse stance holds. I do about 5 second isometric contraction at the bottom of each rep. Then I go up again, relax for a couple of seconds, and go again. I was working with 15 kilos there, and I'm pretty happy with how the weight feels, but I feel like it's restraining a bit my range of motion. But that's just practice with the new weight. I've only been using it for the past 2 weeks. Then I move on to glute focused stretch under tension, and I've been doing these pigeon lifts, I would call them. There's many names for many exercises. I'm not too confident this is what this exercise is known for online, but that's what I'm calling it. And yeah, I still need to rely on momentum to get myself up. Sometimes less momentum, sometimes more momentum, but momentum nonetheless. And then I just try to slow down the negative as much as I can, and I've been seeing good progress from that. As you can see, I usually hang out at the bottom position, 90-90 hip stretch first, just to feel somewhat comfortable. nothing too strict. You see, I'm not too focused on the positioning of my spine and everything like that, just because this is just about me getting comfortable. Just, I guess, also mentally getting ready because for the set, because these are so tough. They're so mentally demanding. It's ridiculous. And yeah, after that, I move on to my last two active hip flexibility work, which are the W sit, I guess, position, which kids do so effortlessly, and I unfortunately have been slowly conditioned throughout my childhood to lose the ability to do that, and I'm now relentlessly working towards being able to do it again. But realistically, it's gonna take a few years. And apart from that, I do the fuck you stretch, which is a combination of my not of my, sorry. This is one take, okay? Just give me a break. Alright, meanwhile, while I fuck up the voiceovers, check my dynamic. These have been going pretty well. I'm pretty happy with my bridge work. I still can't do bridge runs. I would still call these bridge walks. I'm so slow, but I know it's a work in progress. And here's the fuck you hip stretch. There you go. Bye bye. And now for this week's dose of somewhat cohesive scattered thoughts. As long as you live, time passes. And as long as time passes, it's easy to forget. If being centered was about a mere moment, most would succeed. But it's because it's about sustaining such honesty towards oneself without bending for as long as one breathes that it's extremely difficult. The beauty, the admiration lies in said difficulty. My training journey is approaching its 4th year anniversary, and during this short while I've fought a discouraging number of battles simply to avoid losing sight of it, the reason I do it. Staying centered is hard because you are alive. Honoring the reason you started is hard because you keep doing it. Stationary is a mirage. Life keeps moving mercilessly. Anyone can have high morale and be all high and mighty for an instant, but the worth of this statement lies in how one reacts when this gets challenged, and disappointment is often found upon the conclusion of that event. Life is brutal because the conclusion isn't conclusive. And so, as is often the case, I write so as to not forget, so as to have something documented that holds me responsible for my statements. When I started training a seamless 4 years ago, I did so for superficial reasons. As a habit, I was pushed around, and training was just where I happened to find myself that time. I did it because I was there, and I kept doing it because I had started. My life's natural course took place until it was abruptly intersected, if you will, by what I would shyly describe as a magical feeling. From then on, happenstance was no longer feasible. I had to admit I was doing it because I was mesmerized. The first time I saw calisthenic skills, I found my reason. I was content with summarizing my efforts to chasing the target of my admiration, the gravity-defying live sculptures I had seen. I have many objectives of various scopes and reasonings, and I have taken many detours along my journey, but when faced with the practicality of simplicity, I feel pretty happy saying that I trained so as to achieve those grandiose silhouettes.